Hi, and welcome to Small Dream. (2012) 01:18 3:50 a.m. I had a couple dreams last night that I remembered when I woke up. I texted myself a note to remember. The note says, "Turds on playset. Graduating class is not so large until Warren walks by." I can't seem to remember much else now. The turds on the playset were probably 2 feet long, 4 inches across. I seemed to be on a playset at Clarendon Elementary, on the little kids' playground side. The turds were laying on the floor of it. Some other people were there, possibly Gabe, but not sure. The other dream was about that kid, Warren, that Evan knew when we were younger. I was with him someplace. It felt like a cave, sort of. It was dark. Warren was there, apparently a more grown-up version than I last saw. I was making fun of him for some reason. We were talking about the graduating class he was part of. I said something like, the class didn't look very large until Warren walked by, implying that Warren was fat. (2012) 01:18 3:21 p.m. I can't remember exactly what was happening, but I guess I was at some sort of high school graduation. It was kids from my time in high school, though. I know Alan Brady was there. He was robbing some cash drawer there. But then I was backstage and walked out and saw some blonde teacher lady stealing the cash. It must have been a college because I was telling Alan about how none of the girls here had big boobs and the ones at ASU were better. At some point, somebody, I think Alan Brady, had a stun gun. Seems like another part of the dream was having something to do with some chick. She was rolling around in a bed and being sexy. I can't remember. (2012) 01:19 10:28 a.m. First I was working at Domino's again. Same one, same people. Tony and Maverick were there. I hadn't been there in a few weeks, but when I showed up, I was on time to work according to the schedule. In the back room, there is like a locker room. Some people that didn't work at Domino's in real life were back there, like the guy from my EMT class. I don't remember his name. He was Kevin Arnold's friend. He was the guy who looks sort of Egyptian. Anyways, he was back there. Seems like I came in through the back when I came to work. Anyways, the store is set up a little differently. Most everything is the same, except there is also a place to make pizzas up in the front of the store, in front of the counter. I am up there, making pizzas. Tony is bumping the pizzas off the screen. Then he is complaining that some pizzas are being made wrong. He says one was made with Italian sausage and was supposed to be pepperoni. I reply saying that it wasn't me. I never made that pizza. Later on, I take a delivery. Things didn't make a lot of sense. I don't recall clocking out on the run or clocking in when I got to work. I don't even seem to have pizzas with me. Somehow, I ended up at Andrea's house, which is strange because it feels like my current room that I appear to be laying down in. But Andrea is there and acts like it's hers. Then she leaves. A while later, Clyde sneaks into the room behind my back while I'm trying to sleep and tries to scare me. After he grabbed me, I ask how he's been. He says he's been alright, but he is sick at the moment, with a fever. He asks how I have been. I say, okay. Seems like it is now the next morning, at like 6:30. Maybe it really was that time and I knew because I had checked. Anyways, I go back to work at Domino's. I'm not scheduled till like 2 p.m., so I am confused when I get there. Tony looks at me like I'm crazy, says something like, "You need to keep better track of where you are at." I try to explain that I don't know what happened and that I thought it was the next day, and that I woke up at my girlfriend's house. He didn't believe me, which was irrelevant because he wanted to fire me. Maverick argued with him, somehow saying that it wasn't a big deal. Tony retaliated, saying that I hadn't been at work for the last 2 weeks. Suddenly, the store is different. The front space in the store is huge, feels ranch style, spread out with columns, brown wood, lots of padded benches and tables, lots of people around, employees and customers. I tell Tony that, to be honest, I forgot I worked there for the last 2 weeks. Then I asked if he really wanted to fire me. He said yes, that he did. I said that I would rather be allowed to quit than to be fired. We stood very close, face to face. I repeated my question. You really want me to go? Yes. Okay. Thanks for letting me work for you. I leaned forward and gave Tony a hug. As I walked out, I looked around and waved at anybody I knew or anybody that was looking or might wave back. A Mexican lady by the front door held my hand briefly and said, "Thank you for working for us." The front door was on the front instead of the side as in real life. Also, outside was more like Disneyland. Red and white brick wall, big plaza feeling place. I skip along past the front of the store and glance in the front windows. I see Tony in one and the Mexican lady in another. She shakes her head with a confused look on it as if to say, "I don't know why he fired you." I get out front and something is happening, but I can't remember what. Seems like maybe somebody in a costume was doing something. Next dream. I am working in an entrance tunnel at the rodeo. I am by a big bucket of water bottles and cups with a water tap, or a bucket of water, or something. I can't recall much of this dream, but there was quite a lot that happened. At one point, potentially late in the dream, some kids who reminded me of Patty from Ace Hardware's kids were there getting water. The girl put something in my pocket, hoping to sneak it in. It was like they were supposed to get a bottle, but she put a cup in my pocket so that I would bring it in for her. At some point, I am following some person I am working for. This may even be another dream. The person may be Clyde, but I am not sure. He is carrying lots of long, heavy objects, maybe drywall strips. They are about 20 feet long. Then they start to break. I try to help grab them, but I don't do a very good job. We go inside some maze of stacked objects. I thought they were electrical appliances of some sort, but I seem to remember them to be stacks of 5-gallon buckets. Very hard to maneuver around. We had to move a stack to fit by. This was earlier, before I was standing by the water. After we moved the stack was when those people came by, and they were trying to leave, I thought. But as I stood by the barrel of water, or whatever it was, they tried to follow me, so I explained that this was the way back in. The door behind them was the way out, but they went in instead. Weird.